The beautiful woman that you see here is Charlene Dill. She's a 32-year-old single mother of three, and she has a chronic heart condition. She works 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet. She was a babysitter, she cleaned houses, and she sold vacuum cleaners. In total, she made about $9,000 a year from her 3 jobs. So when Obamacare was passed, she was very excited. She tried to sign up on the exchanges, but she discovered that she doesn't make enough money to qualify for the exchanges. She did, however, make enough money to be covered under the Medicaid expansion portion of Obamacare, but the Supreme Court mandated that the expansion be optional on a state-by-state basis. And her state, Florida, has not accepted the Medicaid expansion. So in other words, she was left out to dry. She was uninsured, and there was no way for her to get insurance because it was too expensive. So Charlene and her best friend, Kathleen Voss Woolrich, would try and crowdfund money to pay for her heart medication since she needs it desperately and she's uninsured. Well, she wanted to go to the doctor badly, but again, she couldn't do it. She was prohibited because she wasn't covered. It's too expensive, and she's working all these jobs. And we just learned at the end of March, while she was at a client's house selling a vacuum cleaner, she collapsed on the floor and died. Afterwards, her friend wrote a scathing piece about the situation and said the plain truth, which is that she blames the Florida Republicans who didn't accept the Medicaid expansion. She says, "I blame you for my best friend's death." Now, if they did expand Medicaid, which all they had to do was say yes and accept it, okay, then her friend would have went to the doctors because she would have been covered, and they could have gotten a handle on the situation during a checkup. They might have found something, somebody that had the condition that she had. They would have done the necessary, protocol, which is, I don't know whether it's an x-ray or whatever, to try to get to the bottom of it. She would have been able to talk to the doctor about any extra problems she had. But since she wasn't insured and she couldn't go to the doctors because it cost too much money, she ended up dying. Charlene Dill is one of 17,000 people that will die every year because over 20 states haven't accepted the Medicaid expansion. Now, that's not a number I came up with. That's not a number Think Progress came up with. That's a number from a Harvard study. Harvard calculated that 17,000 people are going to die just like Charlene Dill every year. And the only reason why these red states are not expanding Medicaid is the reason that you expect, the reason that you think. This was a law that was passed by President Obama. President Obama's a Democrat. We don't like the icky Democrats. We don't want them to have a political victory. We're gonna be obstinate. We're gonna be obstructionist, and us, the Republican legislatures and the Republican governors, we don't want to accept it. Well, that stubbornness is actually leading to people dying. So I want you to remember this. I want you to remember Charlene Dill, okay? And I want you to remember her story, and I want you to remember that there are 17,000 people exactly like her. The next time that you go to the voting booth and the next time that you're, formulating your opinion on the issue of healthcare, and realize that this doesn't need to be the case. This is totally preventable, and it's not just that the Medicaid expansion should, of course, be accepted by all these different red states, but I take it a step further, man. I mean, we discussed the other Harvard study that found that 45,000 people die every year in the U.S. because they don't have access to basic health care because we have this private insurance system, this capitalistic system, when every other modern industrial nation has what's called a single-payer system, which is universal health care, which is covered by the government. Okay, they are the insurer. That's why it's called single-payer. They are the only payer. So it basically comes out of your tax dollars. Here in the U.S., instead of our tax dollars going towards things like healthcare and education, like they do in France and Britain and Norway and Denmark and the other parts of the industrialized world. We take our tax dollars and we give it in subsidies to ExxonMobil, we give it in subsidies to Walmart, and we set up 900 military bases around the world and start wars with random countries. So you think we should get our priorities in order? And look, man, I'm shockingly calm while discussing this story, but believe me, my blood is boiling thinking about the fact that it's just a matter of pure obstruction and pure idiocy and partisanship that is leading to all these deaths. So when I come out and I say something like, Republican policies oftentimes kill people, that's not just an opinion. That's a fact.